100 more over here. Although they might not be having a good day because their ship is.
Well, mine specifically from the sinking ship I'm up against.
Yeah, there's 95 you've captured. But, like, there's about 2,000 prisoners, and the fort's not even secure, really. Like, so it's a situation where you have hugely more prisoners than you have manpower ashore to take prisoners.
I think me and Spectre are going to repurpose these 95.
Well, that I think you could do. I don't imagine anybody's going to be able to stop you.
Prisoners? You mean slaves, right?
No.
No. Hayes doesn't have any prisoners on his boat. He has future skeletons.
Yeah, he has skeletons, and like meat jackets that have yet to be deboned.
Well, we should see who we can press first.
Well, we have a whole bunch of other ships to press.
Well then.
So you're going to take on a large number of French sailors.
Well, more so see how the British would feel about taking them on. I don't think we have any intention of keeping these ships. We're just going to trade them into the British for money, right?
So you want to speak to the port admiral about it?
No,
Well-
I definitely want to keep one of these ships.
Say all of them sell, Hayes. I meant, like, we're not going to keep 4 or 5 ships to the fucking line. We literally already have enough issues with 2 big capital ships.
No, there was no issues. These capital ships saved us. Or these bigger ships we have now.
Uh-huh.
You said they were all different, though, AGR. Can we see what's the
You can
difference?
definitely see, but as of right now, you guys haven't gone. They have surrendered, but you haven't disarmed any of these people yet. Like, you haven't completed the task here. The danger is you have a bunch of people who have raised the white flag, but you have no means to hold these prisoners. And they don't seem to know that yet, but
You said the fort, they re-surrendered, though, right?
they did, but
Well, there's dungeons.
it's being held by a skeleton crew that definitely cannot hold 2,000 people for any length of time.
There's dungeons.
You can absolutely put those 2,000 men into that dungeon. It will definitely work, and the city will definitely not fall in the time it takes you to sail out of sight.
Well, don't I have to first tow the sinking ship somewhere?
You can absolutely tow the sinking ship somewhere.
Okay, well, I want to tow the sinking ship back to the port.
Okay, while the Rising Dead is towing the Monarch back to port, what is everyone else doing?
I think I'll be maintaining my position on the T. So if anything, I move forward and rotate so that I'm not really in range of their guns, but if they try to move, they're in range of my guns.
I'll
Like
probably
that,
be
yeah.
moving towards the enemy flagship to accept their surrender officially.
I have the flagship.
I don't think that's the flagship.
It was. It was the ship in the front.
That's not the flagship sails the rear of a line.
Well, you have more than one admiral, so like that's
They're
not
just
real.
different sized
Your
flags.
rear admiral is not the going to be the flagship, but so Hayes has a point, but it doesn't it's not necessarily case in maneuvers.
Well, the point is, of the remaining, vessels, the ones where we didn't kill everybody, including the flag officer, in combat, honorably.
Right.
Totally didn't take him prisoner and turned him into a skeleton. I'd like to
No idea what
approach
you're talking
that
about.
ship to accept their
That would
official
likely be the
surrender.
Prince. It has the highest crew capacity and the best hull. I don't know who we lost.
Okay.
But yeah, you can sail up.
What time of day is it?
It's definitely like you remember the wedding was at night and this
Yep.
occurred
Right
like
after.
that occurred early in the evening too, right after sundown. So it's
So it's only getting darker. It's not getting brighter.
it's more like the middle of the night, the time all these maneuvers took. Like midnight.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just concerned because like our biggest advantage right now is they obviously seen the Monique or whatever the one that got hit by the minefield get hit by mines. So that's probably one of the reasons that they're not moving yet, because they can't see anything. So we need to get this done before sun comes up.
Yes, they are all terrified of exploding. That's probably pretty obvious. So yeah, under you can head to the flagship. There's 1,100 men. Are you trying to meet with their admiral?
I have to get terms.
Yes, they've raised the white flag. You said, so I assume that means that they are either surrendering or wish to discuss the terms of their surrender.
Well, certainly. They are happy to welcome you aboard.
What if we offer to take the ships but let the crews go? So we don't have to deal with the crews.
Well, that's going to be between me and the rear admiral here, I assume. But yes,
the biggest thing, Hayes,
my
is
intent was I was going to say, we will honorably accept the surrender of the officers, but offer to allow the commoner, the enlisted, to go.
Well, in a very thick accent, he says, "And how will they do this?"
Getting dinghies before the British get up here.
you don't know much about sailing ships. There's not enough dinghies, Hayes.
There are 1,100 men.
Hayes isn't there either, so
1,100 men.
The logistics would obviously have to be worked out. I'm sure we have barges that are capable of being towed to a neutral port where they can be repatriated without incurring further violence and without great expense to either side. But it is late at night. The battle has been fought. And if you surrender yourselves and your crew peaceably to our custody, at the very least, we can ensure that these negotiations occur civilly.
Well, you have, as you say, uh, bent us all over a barrel. The barrel. I can't do a French accent.
That wonder talk to himself.
But after a few ah-ha-has, he says, "Sir, you have my parole. I shall do." Uh, who did we get? Oh, Sincere. My men shall be on their best behavior.
Of course. And I am honored to accept your parole. And, by extension, that of your men. So what I propose, then, is several of my ships will come alongside, and we shall tow you into port. For the sake of ease of logistics and accommodations, you and your men shall simply remain on your ships. And we shall conduct the full negotiations with the port's governor and admiralty.
Maybe not the governor.
Hayes, he's saying it because they don't know the governor is a problem.
I'm implying
looks
that we have
better
a
on
lot
paper.
more force and authority than actually exists, because if they find out how precarious our position is, they will turn on us instantly.
They don't know the governor's dumb or done.
And in that case, all I require from you and your men is to conduct this ship in a safe manner and to remain aboard while these negotiations take place. So if you would please wheel in your cannons and toss a line, we can begin towing you out of these dangerous waters.
Well, sir, I cannot argue with this. And he has his sword laid out on the table in his office. Um, he grabs the scabbard and just hands the whole thing to you.
I accept it in the manner that would be appropriate.
Oh, so you don't pull it out and stab him with it?
I also don't open a window and just chuck it into the water.
It is a very expensive gold filigreed sword.
Mm-hmm. Right, and then I say, well, then, Admiral, I shall go see to the arrangements. Please make your ships ready.
Yeah, and he will go out, and he will see you over the side in a uh, respectable fashion, and he will have his men begin stowing the cannons and closing the gun ports, and he will toss a line down.
Yeah, and we'll begin towing them. Yeah, I assume he like tosses it like from the bow of the ship so that we can pull him like up north and turn him around
Yes.
without into the mines.
Correct.
Great, yeah. And one of our other ships would also come by and do that. Probably like Sense ship or something.
We don't need to fiddle with it too much. I
Mhm.
think that is acceptable. Um, yeah, you could certainly tow them into port.
Yes.
There's definitely not enough room at the docks for this many large vessels. So they'll have to anchor offshore somewhere.
Just double park, can't we?
The point, though, is
Well, it's doable.
I want them under the fort's guns. Like, even if we can't park them at the harbor itself, we can park them under the fort's guns and they can sit there under guard. But this way, we don't have to worry about the logistics of shoving, 2,000 people into a dungeon's meant to hold 200. they have their own logistics and their own food aboard. Let them eat those.
I forget. Did the magnificent whatever sink, or is that sinking?
Uh, this vessel is in very bad shape. It was definitely sinking.
Okay.
But I assume you guys have towed it in. It's close enough to port that it is very doable, although it might realistically take more than a night to do.
Well, what we could always do is we could always drag the sinking ships over and beach them on the western shore there to keep them from going under the water, and then just claim them later.
Mm-hmm. Until we
Honestly,
can
that
actually
seems
get repairs.
But yeah, we do so capturing, the two full enemy ships of the line. Is the Orleans their ship as well? Is that full?
I don't remember if we sunk that or not.
It's pretty much in like mint condition.
Right. The smaller ships, we actually should just transfer the crew off of them onto the two ships of the line and take them in empty.
These are ships of the lines as portable prisons.
Yeah. I mean, they're designed to hold a lot more people than these smaller ships. And by keeping the conditions cramped, if we can keep the conditions over cramped, we'll actually reduce the ability of them to fight with those ships if they try to do so. There just won't be enough room.
Yeah, pack everybody onto the two big ships.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the ones that seem to have gone missing.
I don't know what happened to them.
They just randomly sunk. I don't know.
Alright, it's canon. Hayes' character is officially Japanese. He somehow ended up over in the Caribbeans.
Well, what's funny is we're going to come into port, and they'll be repairing the Rising Dead, which will have a very small nameplate for the size of the ship, while the nearly pristine-looking Monarch is going to be like over there with this giant-ass nameplate on the back, because he just hastily swapped the two around.
Spectre, do you want to get going on the rolls for the transformation?
You're give me a moment.
Alright, so after a couple of hours, what does our port look like now?
So, given some time, and with the port admiral's help, I think he would advise that those vessels be lashed together.
Make it even
That
harder for him to use them.
that the guns that cannot be quickly and easily removed just be dropped into the sea at port. They can be retrieved later if need be, but they will not be accessible to the enemy. And then that makes it much easier to use those as prison barges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the
Seems
help of the
reasonable.
British, we can do all of that pretty easily.
He will need all of your help because the fort is very undermanned. And
Yep.
he would probably he would literally probably try to dress as many of your crewmen up as British officers and sailors as possible to spoof these guys and make them think that the people were coming from the port.
Sell
We
them
have 270 skeletons that could sport a uniform.
Yeah, fill in the
I wonder
back
if the
ranks.
face would match.
He might do that. He might do that. They would just have to be like in the distance.
Right,
They're
yeah, fill in the
standing
back
around
ranks.
the fort, or they're on the fort like walls, just standing there.
That'd actually be perfect.
But the port admiral is going to probably pull a few of you aside and want to address the elephant in the room.
When did we get elephants?
Which one?
Of how we
I didn't
saved
know
him.
there were
So-
elephants in France.
So we find ourselves in a bit of a predicament here, gentlemen. I can hold these men for some time in this fashion, but we have a port with no governor, surely this man is useless at this point. Can we not agree that he cannot remain here? The port's going to have to be under martial law.
Oh, absolutely.
The governor
How-
has clearly lost control of his faculties, and for the sake of stability and security of the realm, I would agree with you, Port Admiral, that you must assume the acting governorship under martial law.
Well, on a temporary basis, I think that is perfectly acceptable, although we will eventually need a new governor.
And how about would you like that to be gone and done?
Well,
Well, wouldn't the crown dictate that?
Yeah, but the crown needs to know before the crown can dictate that.
indeed. There will be time for this. However, I should note that I had considerable help in defending the port from several upstanding gentlemen, uh, whom, if they would like a nomination, I certainly may put their name in the running.
Well, I do believe that given this unique opportunity and the needs being what they are, I am, of course, willing to volunteer and therefore nominate myself for the position of governorship.
Pirates turned British governor.
Spanish pirate turned
more
British
like-
governor.
British port turned pirate. I think that's what's gonna happen. It's going to be the Port Royal that turned to the Port Royale.
When the British come, they change the flag back from a pirate flag. Oh, look, we're British! Hi, brothers! They leave. All right, put the black flag back up.
No. And like all the bars have like two names.
One's the British name, one's the pirate name.
Like,
All like the name plaques at the front of the building are like on pivots, so they can just like, flip them around.
I can, of course, make no promises. However, I believe I can be quite persuasive. I see very little way for us to hold this port in the interim period without your assistance. So, that should weigh heavily in the king's decision.
Well, who is your notary that would be sending the information? I can take them to Britain. I have the fastest ship, so it makes sense that if we want to get this information there and back as quickly as possible, I go on a little adventure because that's the fastest way to do it.
adventure.
Well, we have a packet ship come through fairly frequently. I'm sure we could arrange something, but if you are willing to make the journey, I see that would certainly be faster. I'm sure we could prepare something. I can send my steward along.
Yep. And then I would need. What do I have for crew right now? Loki's fortune out front. I know I didn't lose any crew in
92.
that fight.
Is it?
I-
Oh, my
you're-
stream's showing yours is frozen.
Yeah, your stream's frozen.
I mean,
it's
I
broken.
can see his stream.
It's broke.
Okay, now we can see it. All right. So I got crew 48. So I can take 56 and leave all of the better abled crew for our other ship, since I'll just be basically going for speed run, dropping weight as much as I can to get as much speed as I can. If you get what I mean. Like, I don't need 92 crewmen to sail to Britain. I need enough to man the guns if I run into anybody, but I'll be able to outrun anybody elsewise. Like, I'm not looking for a speed 8, I'm looking for like a speed 7.2, basically. If you get what I mean.
I'm giving it all she's got, Captain.
Like, I could drop half my broadsides and just, lose as much weight as I can, keep enough rations to get to the. Like, I'm basically looking to speed run to Britain as
Yeah,
fast as I can to
I
get
mean,
the information
if
there.
if you want to drop, like if you want to leave one broadside's worth of your guns in Port Royal, and half of your crew, then I definitely think you could probably manage an 8. It
Okay.
would probably be half of all of your weapons.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, like I said, I mean, basically, I'm looking to just speed things along, and doing this is also advantageous for speed. So, but yeah, so load up the Devil's Diplomat cargo hold with some of my stuff. I mean, I'm out of mines. Another question here: are they recoverable, or are they pretty much when they're in the water you can't touch them no more?
The mine.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
just curious. I would say
I
that they're
think
untouchable because, like, how the hell would you get into a minefield to unminefield it with barrels with pins on them?
I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but you'd have to send people out on boats and
Yep.
spend some amount of time very carefully
Mhm.
removing them from the water.
But yeah, while I'm gone, you can have some crew draw lots and see if you can disarm those minefields, or just blow them up. They're only 1,000 silver each.
Let's
So
be honest. There's gonna be one blind guy in a boat out there fishing up there.
That was
and
my
he'll get
plan.
every goddamn one of them.
He will, yes. The other thing is, while you're away, we can have the skeletons directed by Hayes and Bo. Just have them walk along the bottom of the port and pick up and carry those guns that get dropped off.
Or any boats that were. Did we sink anything?
We sunk. I don't think we actually sunk anything. We disabled two or three ships.
Yeah, you rendered 2 ships of the line inoperable to where they would certainly have sunk had you not been close to shore.
Okay. But anyway, so yeah, I take the rear admiral or the port admiral's steward, whatever notarized paperwork he needs to send along for nominating Underdark's care. What's your name again? Hook.
Commodore Hook, yes.
Nominating Commodore Hook for governor, and whatever else we need, like enough rations to get there and back.
You might want to also make sure you have your letter of marque, as well as a copy of mine as bona fides about our position.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll have a notary make a copy of Under's letter of marque, and then I have my letter of marque, but I'll make a copy so that it can get sent along with the paperwork.
Okay.
Well,
It
the reason I
probably
said
takes a
make sure
day or
you have
two to
yours
get
is so that you
everything
don't
together.
get, hung as a pirate.
What's that?
Worth noting, as you're getting this together, it probably takes a day or two, and it would become obvious very quickly that not only has the governor's daughter fled somewhere, the governor is also missing. So,
Officially, the governor has lost his mind and went native, and has been relieved of duty.
in any case, at the moment, the port admiral is kicking up his feet at the governor's mansion, and also he says there was a bunch of weird shit in the basement.
Well, that would be Hayes and Bo's.
Yeah, that's their job. They can dispose of all the weird shit. Now, I say dispose, and then it's like, and keep anything you guys want.
I was gonna say, yeah. So the
Steal.
the new Rising Dead would probably be parked up in that river with a bunch of dinghies going back and forth from the mansion.
We now have 292 skeletons, by the way.
Nice. So yeah,
the other thing is, before you set off,
okay,
we might want to ask at least the officers of the French ships, inform that we're sending a courier, back to to Europe. And is there any letters they would like us to forward?
Oh yeah, nice gesture.
Actually, we should probably send a letter of ransom.
Well, yes, I'll also be included, but 2 reasons I want to do this. This is more to you guys. First, you'll help improve their morale and make them less likely to attempt a riot and take over their ships and try to sail away and all this if they believe that we're treating them okay, i.e., we're not going to torture and kill them all. Second, the Port Admiral and I are going to read every letter that comes out of the French ships for intelligence
gathering.
purposes.
I gotta get going, guys.
Yep, have a good
Later,
night,
Gilbert.
Good night, Gilbert.
Especially since the officers might very well say things like, our task force was captured. We are here at this port.
Completely unguarded.
Please send ships X, Y, and Z, which would inform us of potentially other French ships in the area.
True.
I doubt they're going to be super explicit, but
Hey, you never know.
all the officers, and I don't know, I don't care about the number of letters, but it's more the ones that we're definitely reading are all of the officers.
Wait. I have an idea. We could also get any alcohol off of their ships, and give it to
We've
them.
already done that.
Oh.
Rations, yeah. That would be like Prisoner 101. You ration their liquor so that they don't get.
So, by the way, while this is occurring, sometime, probably the second day of this, the admiral that you spoke to definitely hangs himself.
Well, it happens.
Well-
We can bring the body back.
His officers might be able to get off the hook for this, but like, he is super fucked if he goes home.
Yeah, so-
yeah.
Order of
He lost
operations.
4 ships of the line against 1 ship of the line and a ragtag band of others.
Hey, you got a new recruit.
Oh no, we're bringing the body back. That's a courtesy. He was high ranking.
Oh, all right.
It's
It's
a
so nice
gesture.
to have him pour
As
my
a goodwill.
mead every day.
No,
Right. Well, it's
a
more
gesture of
valuable if
goodwill.
we deliver a ransom demand and his body to the French as a gesture of good faith and as a
Yep.
warning.
So order of operations, we collect the letters under our port admiral and others, read through them, get any information that's worth getting. I set out, go to London, get that information sorted out, then wait however long I need to wait in London, and then go to like what would it be, Marseille? I think would be the biggest port in France.
Perhaps.
Marseille's probably the biggest one in the Med. But it'd probably be easier for you to get to like Brest or something on the Channel coast. That way you don't have to go by Spain.
That's true. Yeah, just catch something on the French that would be, that would have higher ranking, pass the information along, deliver the body.
It's definitely possible for you to make the voyage without having to like go directly to France yourself. You could definitely pawn that off on the British.
Give it to a British emissary. Yeah.
Well,
But,
yeah.
You don't have to do that. You could go do that. It incurs a little more risk to yourself, but also, it has a different impact when you do it versus when the British do it.
Exactly. And I'm not too concerned because I would probably get passage.
Wait, isn't
and
that
not
the
bring the
French
Loki's-
ship that they gifted to the Spanish?
Yes. I would get passage and not sail the Loki's fortune into a French port. I would get passage on some ship to get to France, and then
There's roughly a 100% chance you would do that. If you go to the largest French port, there's roughly a 100% chance that's where the fucking ship was built. And the
well,
ship
remember
will
we
recognize it.
changed it a little bit enough, right? Totally.
Not gonna spot that.
Not enough that the man who made it's not gonna walk down the dock and be like, "You motherfucker."
Excuse me, sir.
You should totally do that anyway, just because of that. That'd be
Oh, no.
hilarious.
That's just 100% Gregorio doesn't come back from Europe.
Yeah, unfortunately, without official recognition of being a diplomatic vessel, which you wouldn't have at
he
that
could-
point.
Well, he could get it from the British.
Yeah, even then, it wouldn't be official enough. Like, it would have to be
They-
agreed
they
upon
would
by
have
both
to-
sides.
Well,
Yes.
here's the thing. By the time it's agreed upon, Gregorio will already have been hung.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I get passage to France, deliver everything in person, and then leave without ever bringing Loki's fortune, and then go back. But I'd still, even after the information gets to France, gets processed, and I sail back with whatever across the channel, get on the Loki's fortune and start sailing, I'm going to be moving so much faster than them. I'll still get to you guys at least a week or two before the French can respond.
Seems very likely. Yes.
Just because of the speed that the Loki's fortune can
True.
get.
But that's still very sad because that would be really funny.
Oh, 100%. One day we will sail this into a European French port.
No,
Absolutely.
that port, because I want to see the look on that guy's face.
So anyway,
The,
yes, London first and then France.
The French side, the prisoner. Jar, are you gonna want to keep one of these two, or we want to keep two, or just one?
Under, do you want a ship of the line?
So, logistically, I don't see how we can have a ship of the line.
I mean, if you're governor,
We have a
you can-
problem crewing the medium-sized ships we have now. A ship of the line, they had 1,100 men on one of them.
We could have 1,100 skeletons.
You have 200.
We'll get there.
It's a logistics thing, Hayes. And then also the cost accrued with having that much crew. We don't get as much loot when we loot. That's the problem with having as big
I
a ships.
honestly think that it's better off for us to send the ships of the line to the prize courts and get paid by the British for them, and use that to keep our ships, our nice, more quick, nimble, medium ships, in good order. Plus, this way we get to tweak the French even more.
But I feel like having one would be good. We came across four and we
Aren't
got
you
lucky.
keeping one?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Well,
made it seem like
You
no.
can keep one. You can. Yeah, you're filling it with skeletons. It makes sense.
We figured
want
you were
the
getting rid of the
biggest ship.
galleon and upgrading to the ship of the line.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were saying none. I was like,
No.
oh,
I'm saying I'm going to
The one
keep my
you're
man of
keeping,
war.
keep.
Okay.
I'm going to
And I
keep
mean,
my man of war.
Having another man, having another ship of the line doesn't make sense for a pirate crew.
Yeah.
One is purposeful enough, especially with the purpose you're using it for, is the smash and board.
So, what are the differences between these ones, AGI?
Okay, so the Intrepid here, is 4 speed, and it holds 450 men. It's got 95 hull. It's all pretty standard. The Prince has a lot more health. It's 135 health, and it holds 600 crew. That means fully crewed is 1,200 men. If you wanna double up, it's 1,200 men. You need 600 to effectively fight the ship. And then it has upgraded cannons, but it is not very fast. It's only got a speed of 3.
I only got a speed of 3 now.
So I will note that the crew is very skilled because these are all basically first draft picks. The French crew here. But your crew of skeletons is going to be substantially worse. On a ship this large, you can't really micromanage 1,000 skeletons in the way you would need to for them to not be terrible. They could still do it. They're not going to have a +4. They're not going to have a 0. It's going to be a negative modifier for sure.
What about the other two?
The Monarch has a speed of 4, hull of 95. It's very similar to the Intrepid. I think statistically it's the same. And the Magnifique has a speed of 4 and a hull of 125, not 135, 125. but the crew is the same as the Monarch and the Intrepid. so,
Magnifique. That'd be the one you want.
yeah,
More hull, more speed.
but it only holds 900 max.
Yeah, that had less hull.
It has more hull than most, but it has less than the flagship.
It has less than the thickest ship. But it has more than the other Speed 4, which I think only had
Guns
95.
aren't upgraded, and the crew's not upgraded. So
Well, I mean, putting skeletons on there. The crew's getting downgraded no matter what.
I mean the crew capacity.
Yeah. Well, Hayes, it's your ship, so it's your pick, I guess.
Let me see the prints again.
Just put them all four, like, pin them for him so he can look at them all.
Two of them are the same. Well, do all these already have extra cannon and extra swivel upgrades? Since they have 3 and 2.
I would have to look at the base stat block. I don't recall.
I think it's between the Prince and the Magnifique.
And the Monarch is the same as the Intrepid, so yeah, take your pick.
I guess the biggest discrepancy is speed and crew capacity.
If you want absolutely to have the maximum number of skeletons active aboard, then your answer is Prince. It's also got upgraded broadsides, but it's slow. The other two are slightly faster than what you've got, and they hold 900 crew, which is 300 less than the Prince will maxed out, and they are not as upgraded.
Well, and that's the thing. The upgrades just gotta be really expensive. So I feel like that extra upgrade, that extra HP, more room might be better. I already have a speed
I
3
will
now
mention
anyway.
it will take some time. It's definitely doable to get everybody off the Prince so you can take it, but like it will be time consuming because you've already dumped all the cannon in the water.
It would also be time consuming to repair that ship that has
Oh, yeah.
0 HP.
Oh yeah, it's all gonna take a while.
But also, what Ruffles is doing is going to take a while. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll have several weeks of me being out of town, so
I think we go with the Prince. But now here's my other thing: would we want to have normal crew on there to pilot the ship?
Well, to pilot the ship, you would need a bare minimum of 175 people. And that's not to fight, that's just to drive the ship.
Would be at like 200 crew, normal crew. Would that give a better crew skill?
Um, Opposed to pure skeletons, yes, but the downside is then your crew has to work directly beside skeletons.
lowers morale. That's why we had all the skeletons together with no regular crew. I mean, who knows, Hayes? You've got several weeks of moving French prisoners around to unload the prince and put them elsewhere. Some of them could go missing. You have to be careful about it, though.
But that the crew skill's the modifier on your attack rolls, right?
Yes.
Well, I know I want the prince, so
So be it.
what if I manned the crew with crew and stored the skeleton?
Then you would need a minimum of 600 to fire the guns. Which means 600 shares that have to be doled out.
What's the negative modifier going to be for all skeletons?
I mean, it's not going to be super negative, but it's probably going to be like a negative 1 or 2. And then it, I don't know. I say negative 1 or 2, but that's compared to whatever the stock is. That's not the end result is negative 1 or 2. I'm saying if we go look up the stock stat block for the ship of the line, and my book's over there, it's going to be 1 or 2 below whatever the stat block says.
I believe the book stat is a +3.
So yeah, you probably have a 1.
With all skeletons.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. That's more reasonable. All right, we'll do that, and then yeah, and then I guess we'd sell the galleon.
Okay.
Well, does anybody in our crew want it?
Well, right now, the port is in no state where anything can be bought or sold, but it's definitely an option in the intermediate to long term.
So how long will it take us to situate everything before the Loki fortune departs? How many days or weeks will that take?
To get your stuff together well enough you can leave, it only takes a couple of days. I mean, you didn't have that much stuff. You're just getting letters together, right? People can write all their letters in 2 or 3 days tops.
But also reading through them, that's going to take time.
That's fair. I mean, give it a week. It depends how many eyes you want on the paper.
Does the port admiral have enough trustworthy officers with him to help the reading process?
Well, you guys are all trustworthy.
No, that's true. We have all
Yeah,
of
I
us
mean,
as well.
he has like 4
Yeah, but I don't
officers
read
who can help.
French.
How much French do I know? Little French, no. I wouldn't be much help.
All of the British officers know at least a tiny bit. The port admiral is maybe not fluent, but comfortable. He also speaks a little Spanish.
Yeah, I'm English. I know. I'm most comfortable in Spanish, then Dutch, then French. Ship thieves get around.
By the way, Adrian, do any of these ships have gold on them or currency or whatever?
Do these warships traveling to war have loot on them? Not. I
Yes.
mean, they have weapons. They have gunpowder.
They have gunpowder.
Well, I mean, they would need it.
Well, we need to replenish some mine stock.
I mean, if Yeah, there's enough gunpowder on those two vessels. You could definitely, um, you know, fill a ship's hull with mines, no problem.
Honestly, I think we should keep the galleon as our hot seat now. Good haul, good hold.
Too many people to crew it.
Oh, that's true. What does the galleon need again?
I've got 90 or 88 right now on it.
Need 60 to fight it.
So
But if we kept that out of the fight, the hold is super valuable, and it's got a hell of a hull.
Just keep it minimally crewed.
Yeah, just keep it minimally crewed out of the fight. Dress it up as a merchant vessel, but have enough people to run out the guns if they need to. But yeah,
Well,
being able to haul cargo around, like if we get a big loot, that would be worth hanging on to.
can't the man of war hold a lot?
Not as no,
Or-
that's a treasure
I
galleon.
mean,
It has an
the-
upgraded hold.
Hmm.
He's up by the. Devil's Diplomat, you're just on it. It's down by the
Oh,
minefield, but
I was looking at it. I was just not sure I had looked at any of these other things in a while. What were you asking about the cargo? It's got 4.
I mean, what about the ship of the line? What's the cargo
I would like
on
to
it?
point out that even after raiding Havana, we had ships with
Raid.
empty hold slots.
oh, that's true.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't
we're
think we
really
need to
needing
keep it.
cargo vessels.
Yeah, not yet.
As long as you keep taking ships, they come with cargo slots.
It's amazing how nice it is for loot that can deliver itself.
Okay, so then yeah, we send the Rising Dead to the prize courts.
We can just sell it. It's not a prize.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, or beach it. That works too.
I'm just setting it aside so we know what you're selling.
What when the time comes, what would the price be for a ship of the line sale or at the court?
You
or
don't know.
whatever?
You've never done that before.
It's an
Would the
option.
admiral know?
Ships of the line go into the prize court. They are very valuable, and you guys are gonna get a substantial chunk of change for sure.
Oh, and all of my carpenters, except for rivets and nails, are in the port helping repair those ships while I'm gone. My married band of carpenters.
Could you determine what upgrades the prince has? Let's.
I have no idea right now. Let's see. I'll be 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me go consult the thing.
So, Ruffles, I would assume your men would help me repair the prince first.
Yeah, it'd be the easiest one to repair. It makes more sense to repair that one than to start working on the ones that might need to be dry docked. I mean, the freaking Monifique or whatever the fuck the name is, that thing ran into a minefield, so it's not looking too hot.
So, it looks like the Prince has about 45 extra hull. Um, it doesn't have any additional broadsides, but it has a +2 bonus to its broadsides. The crew complement is way higher than the book number, but that's more or less just because I've been buffing the numbers of crew on line ships to be more accurate.
I'm curious now. What's the book say is supposed to be a line ship?
350.
Ew.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we sail up with our freaking galleon.
it's just not reasonable. Um, Stock speed is 3, so it's got stock speed. Oh, the broadsides are bigger. They're D12s instead of 10s, and they're +2s. So that's also upgraded.
So I mean, I'd still be able to upgrade or get extra broadside?
Yeah, you could go to 4.
Oh.
What's the price tag out of that?
Oh, it's like 13,000.
135 times. Hang on, I get my calculator.
It's like 13,000.
I mean, if you sell the other 2 line ships, you can afford it, but like,
Sell 3 lunch.
well, yeah, but you have to have one at least long enough to hold those prisoners.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're...
two and the galleon. It's a upgraded galleon.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
We can disarm the galleon and use that for cargo for crew storage.
Yeah, once they're submitted, you don't really have a say, but you guys will all get shares as the highest ranking naval officer, though. The admiral will also get shared in on that, as will his crew. So be aware.
Well, I mean, he sort of did sit there and just like tank their line for a little bit, so that seems reasonable.
Well, he's a lot of things, but none of them are coward.
Oh, we've
So
noticed. That's why we're
so for
friends with
the-
him.
So what the upgrades I can do with that is I could do extra swivels, extra cannons, and upgrade the swivels for the +2.
Yeah.
Oof. So that'd be 225 per hull. You could also
Sorry,
do
what?
improved sales, technically, right? Or is that already improved sales, AGR?
No, it's stock sales.
Oh.
So it'd be 325.
What? Sweet what?
For everything that you just listed off, including improved sales, it'd be 325 silver per hull.
I mean, feel free to sleek the ship too if you want to sacrifice some of your armor, and you can
No.
way faster.
No. But the improved sales would be nice on that because that would bring that speed back up and -2 agility.
So it'd be 43,875. Not including any discounts. To do everything to that ship.
Might be worth it.
If only you were playing by yourself.
Aren't all of our other ships though fully upgraded?
I'm not fully upgraded. I'm very upgraded.
I guess
But I'm
we'll
not
deal
fully
with that
upgraded.
when we have money.
Well, and the biggest thing is the ship line. I mean, small ships like sloops are selling for 10,000. So a ship of the line is far more valuable. I mean, the only issue is going to be the shares, which is another thing we probably should sit down and figure out, just so we have a number that we can go off of quickly.
What your shares are gonna look like? Oof.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is a crew count and then his officer count. Because we already have, under you, I'm assuming, still have your spreadsheet with all of our officer count?
Yeah, we had 318 crew and 7 captains.
I thought we lost some crew.
We did.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
it's
why we
more,
need a
can we
new
just go
crew
through
count.
and just get a current count? Just go through our ships one at a time.
I still have 88.
Let me know when you're ready, because
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
ready to
wanna...
go.
Okay. 92 on Loki's fortune.
Okay.
170 on the Devil's Diplomat.
Okay.
17 on the
Okay.
Voodoo Child. 57 on Dutch Courage.
Okay.
That's not even ours.
Yet.
Is the 88 on the Rising Dead? Is that zombies?
Yep, that's all crew.
Yeah,
88.
skeletons don't get a share.
Okay, that's it then.
All right, is that nobody else missing? And then
Bedlam?
the Executor.
Oh wait, no, that's not us. Hang on.
Sounds like you though.
All right, Executor. 900. Shit.
900.
That's gonna eat into it a little bit.
A bit.
All right. So that is 1,324 normal shares for both sets of crew. And then us, the 7 PC captains, and the 1 NPC captain. Each of them get a factor of 3 on the shares. So the total number of shares is 1,348. So once we figure out
How much? Yeah. Then we at least now we at least have a quick we can just divide by number.
Yeah.
So, all right. So yep, Loki's fortune departs, and they play shuffle shell with the French to keep them, divide group by half split, move into new cell, divide group by half split, the whole shell shuffle game, so that no two people are together for long.
All right.
I mean, I'm gone, so I can't actually say that, but I'd suggest it. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, speaking of, well, he's gone AGR. We have me and Spectre for raising skeleton.
Yeah.
Our plan is going to be to raise as many as possible. Do you want us to make 87,000 rolls?
Well, there's always the risk that you get killed by this action. So yes, unfortunately, you can do them in a batch and just make all your rolls. I don't expect you to. I'm really not worried about the limit to the number per day you can do. But you will need to make them individually. Yes.
Okay, so we have 73 left that we haven't skeletonized yet. Won't some of these prisoners we have die during their captivity?
I mean, when you're on a prison barge, the health conditions are pretty poor. But they're not going to die immediately. It's going to take a while.
Well, Ruffles is going to be gone a while.
That's true.
Reasonably, how many would we say are going to perish? There's a lot of them, in a little space.
Oh, yeah, that's another question. What do we have for total prisoners? 1,500? And then 1,100?
Yeah, well, a bunch of the people from the other ships got moved. 1,100 and 1,500. So about 2,500. 2,496.
Did you count all those men that evacuated the other ships as well? The other two?
The men who evacuated in the dinghies and fled into the jungle? No, they fucked off.
I thought we shot them all when they didn't stop moving their ships.
That's possible. But either way, I don't think they're a factor.
Wouldn't men have gotten off the ship of the line that was exploding with the barrels? Or did all the crew just die?
I moved those men.
Okay.
Men have all been moved to this one. That's why that one has more than it had before.
So if they're roughly 2,500, how many aren't going to make it during Ruffles' little journey?
That's another thing. How long is my little journey going to take? Because that'll have a factor on it.
Yeah, I don't really know what a trip across. I'm sure you could Google that. See your average transit time. it would need to be for a sailing vessel. Probably traveling like less than 5 knots on average.
A month to cross from America to England, and twice that time to return.
Yeah, well, so he's about he's likely to be about 3 months.
Yep. So the trip there would take a little bit less time because I have, a ridiculously fast ship. But the time back, it doesn't matter how fast your ship is, you're sailing into the wind. So yeah, like max of 3, I would gather.
Yours is also a very quick vessel, so probably going to be under that. Um, probably just over 2, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, it's according to this, 4 months would be a reasonable time for a British official to wait for reply to a dispatch sent to America.
Assuming you don't get stuck waiting around, I think your actual transit time is likely to be just over 2 months because you have a very, very fast ship.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, that was the idea behind dropping all the weight.
I'd say over that course of time, probably around 300 of those 2,500 men would succumb.
Oh, what a shame. I mean, it's so horrible. It's so terrible.
A lot of it is just because there's infighting and there's not enough food, and the port really can't supply them. So they're all on like quarter rations, and it's bad.
All right, Spectre, we got 373 to turn
What-
into skeleton.
What's the current skeleton count?
292.
Oh, so you'd actually, if you got all of them, you'd have enough to fully man the Prince.
Yes.
Are you going to rename it the Prince of Darkness?
I did the
The-
calculation. It shouldn't be 300. It should be 370. But I'm actually, just to make it a round number, I'm gonna say it's 396. So this one has 1,100 on it. I don't have to do math.
So then we have 469 to turn.
Nice. And how long would it take them? So we've got, let's say, 2 months and a week. How long would it take the carpenters to repair the Prince for him?
The prince is in relatively okay shape. It's just disheveled because you have to like move all the prisoners out and fish all the cannon up from the bottom of the bay.
Well, fortunately, we have a crack team of scuba divers.
I mean, the port has a crane too.
Yeah, but skeletons don't need to breathe.
What do you think? Should it be the Prince of Darkness or should it continue to be the Rising Day?
Never, never, ever rename a ship the same thing that another ship's name was. That is super bad luck case.
I mean, you could call it the profit margin.
Yeah.
I like the Prince of Darkness better.
Okay.
It's fitting you.
So what do my roles have to be again to do all this?
I don't want to look that up. Don't you know how your character works?
No, I forgot. You skipped a week. It's your fault.
Hayes's memory capacity is that of a goldfish, with less brain capacity.
An arcane ritual, and was it reopen the grave?
Yeah.
Okay. You're taking an hour to cast it, each time.
Is that the best?
You have more than one caster. If you guys are working together, you can make your rolls with advantage.
Yeah, we both do it. Yeah.
So instead of DR12, it's DR8, and you have advantage. So it's a spirit roll, and each spirit roll that succeeds, you get D2 plus spirit zombies. So what I would do is uh, I would make a batch of rolls. Let's see. You probably want to batch them out in like groups of, I don't know, at least 10 rolls, and then roll all your zombies at once.
Is that RR10 space D20?
It'd be RR space 10 space 2D20 K KH1. And it fits the same as the other bot. Plus your mod, yeah. But yeah.
No ones.
No, I don't see any ones. Okay. So those are all successes. So your spirit is what is your spirit a +4?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll 10 D2 plus 40.
Oops.
Okay. That's how many you have created so far. You have 413.
He
Is that wrong? Did he roll that?
he has a space between the 10 and the D.
Oh, that explains that. That sounds wrong. Okay.
What do I do? What?
Just
ND.
redo that. Type 1R and put the 10D2 together. You're rolling 10 D2s with the modifier of 40.
So
A lot of
that's
twos.
That's better. Yeah. So that's 10 hours worth of casting. I think we can extrapolate from that in 100 hours you could do 560, and I don't want to roll all night. So congratulations, you didn't die.
okay.
He successfully raised everything you got laying around. That only took him 10 days.
So we now have 761 skeletons.
Nice. I suppose he would need to wait until the French prisoners all died, so that would be nearing the end of my trip to get all the corpses.
Yeah.
So, how'd it go in London for me?
So it would be rough at first, but you'd probably end up with a pretty warm welcome after a few people from the Admiralty Board got wind of you. You would get shuttled around in a carriage. There'd be lots of people laughing and talking about this. Um, there'd be a lot of excitement. Um, there'd be some jealous captains and officers sharing a carriage with you, talking about how they wish that they could have a taste of a prize like that. That sounds like an incredible stroke of good fortune. And yeah, you would end up having to sit in a waiting room for a considerable amount of time while you awaited someone to read the admiral's letters. Um, you would probably be put in a hotel. And then the following day, you would have a wrapped stack of letters handed off to you with a wonderful, firm handshake from a steward, congratulating you and wishing you a swift voyage home.
They're all probably gawking and not believing me on the date that I left.
Yeah, there would be a lot of heads turning. You would probably have some of the captains in harbor would probably follow you out, just trying to see if they could keep pace on your way out of port.
But we zooming.
Yeah, they would not be able to keep pace.
All right. And then yeah, so I'd catch whatever connection between England and France for probably wouldn't be out of London. I'd probably have to go north a little bit and find a passenger vessel that goes between the two of them cordially to do the second part.
Yeah, but you could get passage. It would be fine.
And just curious, is the Port Admiral Stewart coming with me to France?
Oh, absolutely not. He hates France.
Okay. Well, then when I'm in London, I'd ask for some sort of emissary to come with me because my French isn't the greatest, and I mean, ransom demands. You want to be kind of crystal clear when you're communicating.
Yeah, I'm sure the Admiralty Board can rustle somebody up.
You're basically
Well,
asking
heck,
for a volunteer to go along with you so that they can sit there and translate you going, "We've got your admiral," nee, 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 to the French.
I want the guy they send though to be like that guy in Horatio Hornblower, where he's constantly demanding for better quarters, and then you make him be the cook, and then he decides he likes being the cook.
But then yeah, so we'll head to France, deal with that shit show.
Yes, your diplomat comes along. He is, in fact, slightly round, and he does, in fact, need to be hoisted over the side.
Gregorio just watches. He doesn't offer a hand at all. He's just like, this is the guy. This is the guy they're sending with me. Dear God.
Even though the whole time you're with him, other than introductions, he doesn't say a word in English. He speaks to the French, and in his French, you just know how insufferable he's being. You can't understand a word he's saying, but from his intonation, you can tell that the French are definitely having a bad time interacting with this gentleman. He is gloating so much. He
Oh,
loves
where's
his
that
job
frickin'
today.
meme?
Yeah, for our French, ships of the line sailed into our port and surrendered on sight of our glory.
Essentially, yes.
What do you think about that? This is kind of what happened. I mean, sure, we sank like a couple other ships, but
But you could tell he's feigning a great deal of respect for the deceased admiral. And like he takes his hat off, but it's all in this obvious act, which is even more insulting to the French. But they kind of just have to sit there and take it. And everybody's red in the face by the end, and there's a lot of muttered profanity. They're all doing their best to be cordial to the diplomat, but nobody's happy. And you get a very, very curt goodbye from all of the French officials, and it's essentially the minimum that good decorum will allow. It's all perfectly polite, but it's done in such a way that it is very obvious that they're meeting the absolute bare minimum expectations for what they can do in this situation.
All right.
yeah.
Yep, then I'll get whatever paperwork they have for me and the necessary information, yada yada, all that, and move back to London and get on the Loki's Fortune.
The door's not even shut on your way out before you just hear a screaming match in the room you came from.
Ugh, excellent.
There are people throwing things. It's
Oh.
It's bad.
And when I get back to London, I'd like to spend some time, just 2 or 3 days, recruiting as many high tier sailors as I can find. Get some more bigger numbers for our larger cruise ships, like a bunch of
Well,
+2s basically.
with
That's
your
all I'm
current
looking for.
reputation in
Oh,
London, you can
mhm.
fill the fucking vessel with no trouble.
All right.
Um,
So I sailed out with 48. I can sail back with 48 +2s or +3s even. I'm not sure what you'll
Well, you can
allow.
hold double the combat strength, so you should be able to have 96 people on board.
yeah, you can have
Yep, I have
96.
40. Yep, I have 48.
I mean, if you offload your less skilled crew, you can get 96 fully skilled.
Oh yeah, see if anybody wants to stay home.
Well, see if it's nothing. They don't necessarily have to be re-signed.
Yeah.
You
All
can
right, boys, you've
absolutely
done
be
me
like,
well. You can stay in London and find a new ship. If we see again, all the more power to you. So I'm coming
so
back with 96.
the
Well,
downside is those people definitely are still owed a cut from that previous outing.
oh, I can handle that. Function calculator. 1 second. I still have the Loki's Fortune um treasury. So I can give them 60 silver pieces each, which is a
I think
pretty good
I think
share.
they will accept this, although most of them will grumble about it a little, just because they definitely know that the haul should be higher from the line ships. But given that they are now in London and they have money to spend to drink,
Mhm.
um, they're okay.
Well, actually, hang on. Let me redo that because that was not including my pocket money. So 1 second as I re-add some numbers. I mean, it's only 900 divided by 40, so it's only going to be, a couple silver more, but something.
You would probably know a couple more silver's not going to do that much.
I
So
mean, it's 80 silver versus
they were expecting a good bit more.
100. Yeah, hundreds. So, well, either way, I'm still going to, drain my pocket and give them as much as I can, so 80 silver each. And then, yeah, I'll pick up some, because I'd still have minus, minus, what did I have up there? 2. So I'd still have 200 silver. So I'll pick up some nicer things in France and London for my fellow captains.
Absolutely.
And then the whatever is the current finest fashion in under what does your character prefer for fashion? French, British, Spanish.
He wears conquistador armor.
Yeah, but if you wanted a suit, like I know you like fancy, so I
I
would pick up
polish
whatever.
it.
Oh,
You
well then
buy
I
him the
would
finest
see about.
polish.
I
No,
would basically I'd pick up.
what you would want to get, you want to get like the biggest, most with like the largest, poofiest feather in the hat that you could find for like a naval hat. I'm talking like I put this on and it doubles my height.
All right.
Borderline becomes a parody of itself. Hat.
Yeah. So then I'll spend my remaining 200 silver on stuff for the other captains,
Okay.
and then I'll set out.
That's awesome. He comes back with souvenirs.
Well, naturally, we're a family at this point now.
But yeah, um, you know, you make it back. The seas are not super pretty, but you make it back in a timely fashion. Your stopover and your trip to France, it probably adds a week, um, especially given the waiting you're having to do here and there.
Mm-hmm. So 2.5 months.
But there are uh, letters from the office of the king um, with the like royal stamp on them, and you return to port.
All right.
Was undermade governor.
I don't know. They're all stamped. I didn't open any of them. They're for the port admiral. Oh, also, one other thing that I thought of, because I don't know what Bo and Hayes' character want, but Voodoo, I would like to pick up a very high quality rifle for him. So whatever you determine for that AGR, that would be the other item that I would request.
All for me. I'm touched.
I'm not a priest.
No, that'd be me touching you. Different story. Different story.
Do you not already have the
The Buccaneers rifle.
He does. That's what I was saying. It'd be up
Tell
to
you
you,
what.
AGR. I only want one
Tell
of
you
a
what,
very high quality.
you can get a +2 Buccaneer musket. And the gentleman in the shop will not charge you for it. And
Oh.
his reasoning, and I quote, is you stuffed the French.
Fair enough.
So what you're saying is all the souvenirs I brought back, I still somehow have my 200 silver.
You have roughly 148 silver.
I will mark that down. Would Spectre or Hayes' characters, we've hung out for long enough. Gregorio would have gotten to know you guys. Would you want anything from Europe special? Hayes, Spectre?
Sorry, what?
I don't know anything about the equipment in this game.
Well,
Literally nothing.
Is it?
Do you want anything special from Europe for your character?
What time period are we in? The early Renaissance?
1700s, sailing era.
Okay.
So, what do you primarily fight with?
I can't really use anything made of metal. So,
All right, I'll get you a nice stick.
I have a rifle.
You're a rifleman?
Yes.
like, I can shoot a gun, but then I got to put that gun down to do anything.
I'd like a nice melee weapon, very fancy. Go with my fancy clothes that smell of death.
It's also a bad idea to get me a gun.
All right.
Well, any other equipment you're buying is going to be at half price. If it's standard like gear,
Yeah.
clothing, and armor. If
All
it's a
right.
weapon, it'll be similar. Probably not bombs. They probably won't give you a discount on bombs. But most things.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out later because they're.
But yes, you are able to purchase things in London and make a successful trip back. And the port has not caught fire and sunk into the swamp. Congratulations.
How much of those ships would we have gotten repaired over the time?
Over the course of 2.5 months, well, one of them can be fixed in that time.
Yeah, 10 HP per day. But I'd say with us not spending silver on it, only my carpenter's working on it, it'd probably be less than the PHB repair cost.
Well, that was kind of what I was thinking, was that it was just going to be, the port is not in a great shape. You guys are holding it together because you have your own manpower here. But it is under martial law, and there's not a lot of work being done. The port is in a state of disarray. So the only reason anything's getting done is because you guys have your carpenters down there.
Well, fix up the better one there, the bigger one, whatever it was.
Magnifique.
That's probably
Alright.
about where we're at.
Yeah, because on top of that, they'd also probably have to be sourcing lumber from the jungle, so
Correct.
a lot of time spent doing that. All right. So now, let's sit down with the port admiral and go through all the paperwork. And I present under his hat, too.
Which I am, of course, wearing.
It's like getting in the way when we're sitting around the table.
Well, it's like crammed up against the ceiling.
So when you go to the port admiral, and you meet with him on his flagship, the steward opens the door to his office and then sees your hat, and then he realizes, oh, and then he has to open both the double doors.
Excellent. And then I politely doff the hat because we're indoors now.
He's sitting there holding it, trying to figure out where he's going to hang it.
Oh no, I'm just like holding it like in the crook of my arm.
Ah.
And yeah, you get a good morning, gentlemen.
Ah, good morning, Admiral.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Captain
Oh.
Gregorio, I pray your trip was it went well.
And
The weather
Gregorio
was
just
fair?
has this big folder of paperwork. I would say it went splendid.
Well, let's have at it then. And he clears a space on his desk for that.
Like 6-inch thick wad of paper.
Yeah.
Probably handle the government ship first, and then do the French stuff second.
So he's going to paw over some of this, and he's going to separate things into a couple of stacks. And he's going to say, well, he's got orders, and he's going to set those to the side. He's probably going to actually just drop those in a drawer. And then he's
Not in
going
the
to...
trash.
No, he has to read his orders, but he can't do that with y'all. You know. So he goes through and he's like, okay, well, I think this pertains to you gentlemen. And he's going to stuff that to the side. He's going to look through it a little more. And he's going to pull out one or two other documents. And he's going to say, oh, these all look to be the same. And set those to the side. He's going to finish rifling through his paperwork, and he's going to say, okay, well, from the top, let's see. I have a stack of these. These are offers to be inducted into the Order of the Bath. So congratulations, gentlemen. If you feel like visiting London again, they're happy to knight you. and he's going to toss those to the other side of the table. It's not exactly convenient, but certainly an honor. And then he's going to look through here, and he's going to say, "Oh, this is the reply about the governorship. Um, the His Majesty has seen fit to go with my recommendation, uh, so long as having had the time to discern, I have not changed my mind, and I have not. Uh, so, uh, congratulations, Commodore.
Thank you, Admiral.
Congratulations.
Uh, we'll have to have you head up to the estate at some point later today. I mean, there's quite a bit of abandoned property up there. We'll see if we can get it straightened up for you if I can spare a hand. And then he's going to sort through some of his other paperwork. He's saying this is in relation to our prisoners. We await further reply from the French, but it does seem likely that they will be paying to have these men released. At least most of them. It's a little particular, but there are about 14 men they've specifically excluded here.
Did they give a reason?
None to my eye, and he looks in the envelope and checks for a second page. I see nothing. It's quite unusual.
It is.
And then he pours through a little more. He says, I think that is most of everything we have for you, gentlemen. These ships will, of course, have to go to auction at the prize court. The estimated value for each of these vessels is likely to be in the range of around 200,000 doubloons by the time we're all said and done with this. And the prize court has their share, of course. With 3 of them, it will be 600. We'll have to divvy that up, but we have none of the money yet, so we will
Indeed.
need to wait and see on this.
In the meanwhile, I suppose as the newly appointed governor of this port, is there a local equivalent of a burgomaster who oversees the town's day-to-day functions?
I'm sure the governor is more familiar with these things. I have had no contact from any of his prior counsel in my entire time manning the port. Not one person has come to me, and he took quite a bit of his paperwork with him. So, as far as your staff is concerned, you may have to come up with something on your own.
Indeed.
Looks like we're gonna go hiring.
Yeah, basically we need to hire I assume like we can just like post flyers that
Well, you're the governor. You can do
on
whatever
the-
the fuck you want.
well
He's
within
point
reason.
the guy and say you're in charge.
It's more I want to try to find out HR basically I want to spend like the next couple of days getting a handle on this part's economy in like current status? Like, how many people are here? What's the general economic situation? Is there any industry in the area? Enough that we can get this port to be relatively self-sustaining, so that we're not constantly having to pour resources into it to keep it from falling apart.
Well, so probably the good idea would be we need to get you a chief of staff.
So
That's
to
why
get
I
your
was asking
staff.
about the local mayor.
Well,
this
yeah.
is I will just qualify this statement. You are the governor. You are not the governor of Port Royal.
What am I the governor of then?
I'll give you a moment.
Wait, they made me the
Port-
governor of the Caribbean?
Port
Uh,
Royal is the
Jamaica.
the capital
Ah.
of Jamaica for Britain. You're not just in charge of a city. You're in charge of a large stock of British holdings. I thought you knew that.
No.
You knew that.
I thought each port had its own governor.
Yeah, I was going like Pirates of the
They
Caribbean
do.
logic here.
But they answer to you.
Ah.
Ah, you suddenly become a lot more powerful in the last 2 minutes.
I have become a lot more powerful in the last 2 minutes.
Oh my god. I genuinely thought you knew that. That's why I didn't say anything.
No, I a little bit of a misconception there. I've accidentally myself into a lot more power.
Yes, I'm gonna take over this city and run it with my. Wait, the whole island of Jamaica? Hang on a second, I need a bigger hat.
Well, I have the right hat
Quick,
for the
Ruffles,
job at least.
Yeah, quick, Ruffles, go back to England. We need to get a bigger hat.
2.5 months later.
Well, that'd be about as much time as it takes to get this bitch running.
Okay, so I guess we're planning a trip to Nassau soon.
Well,
So-
do what you got to do.
Amongst all of the paperwork, I'm assuming there are letters for the other governances of Jamaica informing of the change that would need to be delivered, correct?
There's so much fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
As soon as he undoes the bands, you realize how much more there was because it was compressed pretty tightly. There's so much fucking paperwork.
I had a 6-inch bundle from Britain, and I had like a 3-inch bundle from France. And when you snap the twines, the British one turned into a 9-inch bundle, and the French one turned into a 4-inch bundle.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
well then I probably should sail around and deliver those, while you guys get everything else sorted and figured out. Anybody want to come with on the grand tour? Oh, speaking of, I also would inform Commodore Hook that I acquired some high-quality sailors.
Wait,
That's
I want to.
Governor Hook.
Oh, I want to verify something, Gage here. So I was made the governor of Jamaica, not the Bahamas.
Jamaica.
Okay, so it's the one island.
The one island.
Okay.
The really big.
No,
The
no,
really
I
big
was thinking
island.
you had made me like Jamaica covered the Bahamas at first. Took me a second to realize it didn't. So I'm thinking like they gave me control of like 2/3 of their holdings here.
Well, you have single-handedly been more effective than the entire rest of the British forces in the region. So, and you
Against
came
the French
with
and the
and
Spanish.
you came with the recommendation of a respected admiral at a time when Britain is definitely not the strongest power in the region. So they decided to gamble on you.
Well-
It's one of those cases where I can't have done much worse than the guy who had a necromancer for a daughter and then fucked off.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's yeah. It took a turn.
Okay, so well, so yeah, I have the right hat for the job then.
Yes, your hat is sufficient to the task.
So I guess then we start rooting through all the governor's old records and stuff just to figure out just like what is like the state of Jamaica. like to make sure that we aren't actually like on the verge of like a famine. That would be bad.
Pirates turned politician.
Well, yeah.
Politician Borg.
Well, not so much politician. I'm a
Bureaucrat Borg.
well, I'm an appointee.
He's the devil's diplomat.
Yeah. I'm the local despot.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
So how many ports and holdings are there on Jamaica itself?
If it doesn't appear on the map, it's not noteworthy enough. I'm going to worry about it.
Okay,
But
so
there-
Port
there-
Royal's the big one.
But there are, there are other smaller holdings dotted around, but they're not of substance.
Right, but the point is in theory, we should be able to manage Jamaica so that it makes a tidy profit passively that we can then use to keep our ships upgraded and ourselves living comfortably while we roam around and fuck with the French and the Spanish.
I mean, yes, the territory will make money, and yes, some of it will be yours as long as the king receives his share.
Naturally. So then, yeah, I'll. How long would it take me to sail 4 hexes?
Why are you sailing 4 hexes?
Jamaica occupies 4 hexes.
Oh, you're
Sailing around Jamaica. Yeah, go around Jamaica, touch all of the ports, inform anybody that's important of the
your speed
changes,
is-
and then also get any holdings information that might not be in the governor's record.
Your speed is 7, so even on like a bad day, you can make it around the whole fucking thing.
So yeah, I'll spend a week popping in and out of all of the different little holdings, getting any information that I can for Governor Hook, and then while he's going through the records in the mansion. All the different plantations, stuff like that. My ship's small enough and low enough draft, I should be able to just go right up to them all pretty easily.
Yep.
With Hook being promoted to governor, I humbly promote myself to Commodore. And I take a vow as I promote myself.
That's fair. So you do have a stack of invitations on that desk to be knighted. You would
I'm
all,
definitely going.
in order to be knighted, though, you'd have to like actually travel back to London, and then you could be Sir Governor Commodore, or you could be actually. I guess it would probably be Governor, Commodore, Governor, Sir, and then your name, because Sir should come before the name. It's a lot.
Well, it would be
You could
like,
have-
Sir Hook, Governor of Jamaica, Commodore of the Caribbean Fleet.
Yeah,
I feel like you should also promote your military title since now we have a bigger fleet.
I mean, at
leadership.
this point, you also like, yeah, it's a situation.
You're Governor Admiral.
Do I have
Admiral is a military rank, and you're not in the British Navy. You're privateers. Now, don't get me wrong. You have enough sway. You could definitely get yourselves into the British Navy. But
Pirate Borg
but
and
I
Navy
don't
Borg.
see, I don't see a lot of benefit to you from that, from where
Oh,
you're
no.
at.
No. See, the nice thing about Commodore is really Commodore is just a leader of a flotilla, so it can be a somewhat informal rank, unlike Admiral, which has actual official political ramifications
And responsibility.
And so much fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
Probably took a day just to go through the 2 stacks of paper before we even figured out what they all had.
Now, if anything, I would just like promote myself to just like Lord Commodore or something.
There you go. Governor Lord Commodore. Sir.
Sa.
That's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility.
I'm just going with the ridiculous and introductions at this point. Gregorio would be interested in knighting, but he's not interested in returning to Britain at this time, so he'll just keep his letter of knight. And
Same, man. Taking the trip is something we can do, later.
We got an island to unfuck.
Well, we're not even sure that it's fucked. I mean, it might be actually operating pretty well, and it was just Port Royal that got fucked by the French.
Well, true, but I mean, we do have to, unscramble the mess because of the former holder, took away all the bits of the information.
Yeah, so after our week of information gathering, what do we learn about Jamaica?
Also, we're going to put up posters saying that the governor and his daughter have kind of gone nuts, and for their own safety, we want to put them in an asylum. So if you see them, please let the local constabulary and or military personnel know.
Fair enough. Yeah. So a few things. Over the course of a year, the island brings in about 750,000 silver worth of like basically sugar and other exports, sugar cane mostly.
Sugar, rum.
Yeah. That's their entire yearly profit. And that's on average. Last year looks like it was well under the average. It was like 450, but there's not really a lot to show that it would be that way this year. Things look better. Maybe it's going to come in slightly under average, but not 450.
Sure.
It doesn't look like the people are starving. But a lot of the a lot of food has to be imported, so because they spend pretty much all the land is fucking
sugar
for
cane,
profit. Yeah. So
that's how these things were run.
Oh, also, while I'm glad handing all of the plantation owners, do you want to have me deliver invitations to a ball of some kind? Or nah?
No.
No gala?
There won't be a gala. Instead, they have a open invitation to visit me for tea. With a note that due to Jamaica's somewhat deteriorated economy, spending lavishly at this point would be irresponsible.
Excellent. Yeah, so then also I'll deliver all of those handwritten by Commodore Hook invitations to have tea with him.
Right. Because if we're going to spend lavishly, it's going to be on ourselves and not on the plantation owners.
Exactly. Makes sense.
yeah. You'll likely, as you're delivering those notes, get several what seem to be acceptances, although they're not, official. But you definitely get several people who sound like they're very interested. You'd likely likely expect letters from them in the near future.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good, because if we can keep the major landowners happy, keep the workforce well fed, the chance of having to deal with a rebellion is going to be rather low.
Yep.
After all, the sugar must flow. Also, what's the tax rate? Like, how much of the yearly earnings do I have to send to the king?
Most of them. I don't know. I do not know, but we can find that out.
Yeah.
Probably something draconian like 85%. He's a king.
Mm-hmm. That he is, for now.
Somewhere in the documents, there was likely a stipulation that due to the nature of circumstances, the first year they will waive a portion, so it'll be like 40% this year and then 85 going forward.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean that still leaves us with like 100,000 silver a year into like free revenue on average.
Yeah, it ain't terrible.
You know, not exactly going to be able just to crap out ships of the line, but we should be able to do things like, you know, make it so the fort isn't just a bunch of D6 cannons.
I mean, there's a bunch of D12 cannons at the bottom of the ocean.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna go fishing.
So, looking at the governor's house, by the way, it's full of like whale bones and other like weird deep sea creature bones in the basement, and there's all kind of like necromancy bullshit. There's like a pentagram drawn in the basement in blood, and there's lots of skeletons all over the place. They are not animate. There's like a dungeon dug out in the dirt. It's it's fairly robust. There's lots of random, presumably mystical artifacts, but none of them seem to do anything at a glance.
So is that like when we moved in it was like that, or you're saying that's what it's like now after Commodore Greybeard and Bo have had their way with it?
No, that's just what it was like when you guys got there.
Right. Okay. Well, Commodore Greybeard and Bo can do with
How
those as
many
they will.
skeletons did you say are decorations?
They weren't decorations, they were just not currently in use.
They're in cold storage.
There's
How
probably
many?
around about 100.
We'll take care of those.
That's fine. You were over on your last roll by at least 100, so you just take those.
There it is.
Beautiful.
They're just all hanging on racks. All right. And then guess probably we could sell off the whale bones. We know those are pretty valuable, and there's people in the Caribbeans that would buy them.
Well, we knew there was one guy that bought them, and we're in his house.
That's true.
Well, there was also the guy down in where was that? It was a Spanish port though, so I think Santa Catalina or Santa maybe.
I don't recall, and I'm not certain that your characters would.
The original where we got the first whale bones from was a
I
Spanish ship that was
remember-
delivering them,
I
but I don't
remember
remember
that was
which
a thing. I don't
yeah,
remember
but I don't remember
where
which
either.
port it was. Yeah, it was one of the ones in South America, but I don't remember which one.
Yes, it was along the Spanish Main somewhere.
I want to say Santa Catalina. Yeah, so we could shell and ball sell them to him.
I mean,
Welcome back.
I suppose we could also just make it known that, you know, we have it and are looking for a buyer and let people come
Yeah.
to us.
That's also true.
Please sell everything that's not nailed down. And they have hammers in town. So
we have We have over 50 British carpenters. We could sell the house.
Hey, we gotta sleep somewhere.
I know. I'm
And
joking.
it's a nice house.
Look at him talking about sleeping on land.
Mhm.
What happened to him?
I got promoted.
All right.
Like the goal
So-
of being a pirate is to kind of like, find a way to the easy life. I kind of won.
Yeah, amass
mean,
enough money that you don't have
You
to
just
work.
said it.
Being a governor is the definition of that.
So does that mean you're not sailing anymore?
Oh no, we're sailing.
Well, you guys are. I'm pretty sure this means my character is going to end up like retiring from like actual campaigning.
You might want to bring another character if you're leaving port. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You have two versions of Commodore Hook. Commodore Hook
Well,
Main and Commodore Hook Light.
You can absolutely run them both, but yeah, Commodore Hook I think has become Governor Hook.
Yeah, and the running of him is really just running Jamaica.
Yeah, he's become a pencil pusher. For
Yes.
shame.
No, not really a pencil pusher. He's got people to push his pencils for him.
He's a people.
People
pen-
Is
pusher.
it gonna be like
No, the pencil pusher people manager.
I'm the schmoozer.
I mean, is it gonna be like, mob rule or something?
Well,
Everybody pays you tribute or else, bad things may happen.
no, that's way too subtle for me. You will pay, or this group of privateers is going to come and bombard your house from the shore. And then they're going to burn it. Then they're going to burn it, and then they're going to rape your daughters to death in front of you.
Which is going to be double awkward because they will probably be actively on fire at the time.
It's true.
Skeletons
do
don't give a
have-
shit, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Plenty of
They do not.
bones.
all right.
Like this is like the reign of terror times here.
No. It's not the reign of terror. It's only a reign of terror when they don't
Like-
pay.
Like, yeah, if they're in my good books, they'll have all the protection they could ever want. I'll be magnanimous, I'll be merciful. But the minute they cross me, they are fucked. I mean, like, defect to Sweden to get out of here. Fucked.
Send them to Australia.
No. In theory, with some of these letters, I could probably reach out to them there via some new political contacts.
No, at this time Australia was UK's prison.
Yes, I'm aware. That's what I'm saying. To escape my wrath, they would have to do something like defect to Sweden.
Oh.
All right.
You
So
let me
then,
know if you want to deport anybody to Australia.
Not at this time, but I'll keep that in mind.
that's a hell of a trip.
Well,
But within his purview if he wishes to do so.
more than
Well,
likely they'll just
hell.
be impressed into the local Caribbean Defense Force. That's you guys. And you need to go and like defense the French or something.
I mean, how do you build a fence out of white flags?
Well, you just stack them all next to each other. The point is, I want you to go defense them. Go take their fences.
What about the
All right.
shrubberies?
So then it's the matter of getting these ships fixed up. So it'll be another month and a half to fix the whatever Monarch.
Yeah, it would probably take another month to get everything fixed up.
Okay. So in our month, dealing with all the pencil paper pushing, get that all fixed up, and then we need to wait on the French's response, which would probably be coming in soon. And then get these ships over to Europe for the prize course, because I would imagine you don't want to sell these in the Caribbean. But I'm also assuming that was probably discussed with the British Admiralty.
I'm sorry, what was?
Where exactly are we going to be selling these ships in the prize course? Because I would assume the Caribbeans wouldn't be where you'd auction ships of the line.
That is correct. They will have to be.
Yep.
They will either have to be repurposed, like the Admiralty will have to pay you out and repurpose them themselves if they want to keep them in the Caribbean, or they will need to ship them back and go through the courts. There are they have some means to circumvent all that for expediency. They're unlikely to do that under most circumstances.
So in my conversations with the Admiralty, then we would have arranged for able crew to be able to move these vessels over to Europe if needed, or here, whatever the plans that we were working on. So they would be a little behind me as well.
Yes. Well, these ships require a massive crew complement, so they are going to be difficult to return to the mainland because you really don't want to just put anybody on them.
Yep.
They are of such high value, and there is a certain possibility that the French may wish to purchase them back, in which case the British will absolutely sell them, but they will be holding them until the end of the war.
Yep. So what's I think it's like let's say 200 to sail them without without guns.
150. I think one of them. I think the Prince is 175, but the others are 150.
Okay, so then we'd need 450 to be able to even move them.
I have 88 crew on my galleon, not doing anything.
Is that people?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was the crew of the galleon. But
I thought you only had skeleton on there.
No, it's 88. 42 skilled, 46 unskilled. But that should probably go with whatever to be sold. Selling the galleon.
So
well, the crew don't go with the ship. The crew.
Over the course of the multiple months that this takes, you probably can sell the galleon. The other ships are going to be much more difficult because they actually have to go through the prize courts. The galleon is 85,000.
With all the upgrades?
Yes.
Sorry, I was looking at something else. We sold the galleon for 85.
I sold the galleon for 85.
We sold the galleon for 85 Haze.
I spent the gold to upgrade out of my shares, though. Me and Spectres.
I gave you shares as well to upgrade that ship.
I thought it was just Spectre. The bottom line is we need money to upgrade the new ship. I'd like to devote those funds to the new ship. Also, feel free to dispense the 88 crew, 42 skilled, 46 unskilled, as you see fit.
Oh, and the governor did not take around 3,000 gold with him. So there's roughly in his home about 3,000 like gold and silver pieces.
Okay.
That were accessible, and you located pretty quickly dwelling in the building.
Doesn't sound like us at all.
Yeah, that's good.
How much did you say the guy was so far?
85,000. What were your upgrades? What did you put in?
Everything. Extra cannons, extra swivels.
No, what cash value did you put into it?
Oh god, let me do the math. Unless Under still has those numbers.
9,750. Oh wait, nope. Sorry, that's the sum twice. 4,875.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So you got more out of it after upgrading it than you would have selling its stock. So you actually did okay. Because you were gonna get like 60 something for its stock.
Can you put my new ship up? Or did you already put its stats? You might have
It's
already
up
done.
there. Yeah. the print.
Okay, let me update my sheet.
I can
now. There.
repost it since it's a name change.
So it's 3d12 plus 2. 2d8. And what did we say my all skeleton crew skill is going to be?
It's +1. And your crew there is listed is your skeletons. So
What's the cargo? 3?
3.
Can hold max crew 1200 is the official stat, right?
Yeah.
Did someone notate the crew so I could delete this from my ship that was on the galleon?
I moved
The extra 88.
the 88 over to one of the empty ships of the line.
Okay. Yeah, because I only have them as aggregate. I don't have like
There's
where
the
they are.
stats.
I have very little way to hold on. I'm never gonna remember what that stuff means, but there you go. It's
Hey, Under. What do you think about 10% off the top before shares for ship upgrades? Because that goes to everybody then. And there's still a large amount of shares after that.
well,
Yeah,
your crew might have an opinion on shaving money off the top before they get their shares.
But we shouldn't have to split the 85,000 with any of the crew.
no, we wouldn't.
It's not a
No,
prize.
not that.
As for the off the top for that, what I would say is we have to deduct. We wouldn't have it fixed like 10% off the top for upgrades. Rather, it would be repairs to the ship. If that has a cost that we have to pay, that comes off the top. If the crew wants to,
That is perfectly acceptable.
if the crew doesn't want to pay for repairing the ship, they should shoot better so that the ship doesn't get damaged in the first place. Like it gives them an incentive to not to keep the ship in ship shape.
Mhm.
As for upgrades, I think it's okay to not take off the top for that at the moment.
Well, I was thinking the motivation side of things: better ship, more survivability, more chance to get more loot.
We just took on 4 ships of the line and won.
We got lucky.
We did get lucky, but like I don't think we're in a situation where we're really hurting for that type of thing.
Mhm.
As versus
Okay.
the morale hit.
Of the 85,000 prize money, can I take 37,125 to upgrade the?
I mean, Hayes, I was
Friend.
messing around with you. That's your ship you're selling. I was just
Oh.
messing with you.
Yeah, Hayes.
Fucker.
Yeah, like I have no problem
You
with Hayes. You
believe
just having the 85K.
That's your ship. I was just fucking with you.
Well, we're putzing about and doing our governorship thing. Then I'd like to upgrade the prince.
All right.
The total cost for all upgrades is. What do you want for numbers to figure out if there's discount?
What did I say? You take like 10% off, Ruffles. What was the number?
Shit. Under, do you have that noted? What the difference was on your spreadsheet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, you take 10% off.
In math, that's 0.1, right? Times it by 0.1.
Yes.
No, that would be 10% of that thing. You
Yeah.
multiply it by 90%, so 0.9.
0.9.
Okay. 33,412.
Your upgrades are going to cost 33,412.
For upgraded swivels, extra cannons, and improved sails. Yes.
What?
Okay. Go through them one at a time.
So upgraded swivels is 3375 without the discount.
So that'd be like a +2 to their damage.
Extra swivels 6750. Extra cannons 13,500. And then the improved sales 13,000. Should be a -2 agility.
I believe it's time for a couple
Yep.
of these gentlemen
It
to
is.
go.
So
So productive evening.
it was.